Okay, hallelujah. We're back in the Word again. We were in Psalm 78 and 5. I was dealing with, this proves that the Most High has not given us religions. And it says, for he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel to the Israelites, which he commanded our forefathers, that they should make them known to their children. He commanded our forefathers to make these laws of the Most High known to our children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. So we supposed to learn the laws, and the Most High commandment, his orders was that we teach the children his laws. You got moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and sacrificial laws. Now we know we're not dealing with the sacrificial laws because the Mashiach Shah was the ultimate sacrifice, right? But we still have moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws. It says that they might set their hope or their faith in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments. You see that? Keep his commandments. That's why it's very important to hear what the word of the Most High say and not follow what man says. You see? Because man done lied to you to tell you that you don't have to follow the commandments of the Most High, his laws, and come up with some other way that they're dealing with. When he said, these are my feasts, do this for me, and you're not going to do it, you think the Most High going to bless you to the kingdom? I don't think so. Listen, that they might set their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments. The works of the Most High, do you know, he took the time to give us 613 laws, written by the finger of the Most High. It might not be as their fathers. How was our forefathers? A stubborn and rebellious generation. While we went into captivity after captivity after captivity, most time you read the Bible, we in captivity as the Israelites. A generation that set not their heart, which is your mind, aright. Didn't set their mind aright. Like a lot of you call yourself Gentiles, but you really the Israelites. I'm talking to you leaders, telling our people they're heathens. They're the Gentiles and so forth. And you done heard the fact that we have brought forth for all these years that we are the Israelites. It might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, didn't set their mind aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. See, verse 10 say they kept not the covenant of the Most High. You know the covenant was who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to the 12 tribes of Israel, and refused to walk in his law. That's why you talk to people that's so-called Christians or going to whatever religion that they're going to in these buildings and so forth. You talk about the law, they have a problem with that. Commandments they can kind of handle, but when you talk about we under the law, oh, they flip out on that. That's some kind of hocus pocus witchcraft on them. This is what it said. It says, they kept not the covenant of the Most High and refused to walk in his law, like it is today. They're refusing to walk in the Most High's laws. That's why hellfire's waiting on you if you don't change. If you don't repent, come out of it. Go to Romans. A lot of y'all say you're gonna be spiritual Israelites. Ain't no lie to you on that. Oh yeah, we gotta bring it on home because we're gonna cover all aspects of John 3:16, right? Romans 9:1. You're run here. I say the truth in the Mashiach Yahushua. He say the truth by Shabbat Mashiach Yahushua. That's what he said in the name of the Lord and Savior. The truth is, keep it of the laws of the Most High. I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Holy Spirit that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. He was always sorrowful in his mind. Why? For I could wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. If you don't know what your flesh is, pinch yourself. That's your flesh. That's your flesh right here. Pinch yourself right there in the skin. That's your flesh, according to the flesh. This cancels out. You could be a spiritual Israelite. Who are Israelites? Hear that? According to the flesh, who are Israelites. Not no one else, not no other nation, who are Israelites. To what happens with us? To whom pertaineth the adoption, Mashiach dying, and Most High adopting us back to him, and the glory of the kingdom that's coming, and the covenants, we read the covenants to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, to the 12 tribes of Israel, and the giving of the law, we read, giving of the law in Psalms 147, 19 and 20, show of his word unto Jacob, the statutes and judgments of Israel, he has not dealt so with any nation, as for his judgment they have not known him. And the service of the Most High, through the priesthood and so forth, bringing forth the laws of the Most High, and teach you, and the promises given to who? Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, to the 12 tribes of Israel. Whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh, Mashiach came. He said in Matthew 50:24, we done said it over and over again, even in this lesson. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. According to what? The flesh. Who are Israelites. Verse 4. To whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. Whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh. How many times he said this? Because he knew that you're going to say, you could be a spiritual Israelite grafted in. Like y'all say, y'all Gentiles, you've been grafted in, don't know who you've been grafted in among. You got to be filled with the Holy Ghost and speak in tongues and so forth. Nobody interpreting what you're saying. But this is what the things that you've been taught. You know? Which is a lie. And you're the Israelites. Whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh of Mashiach came, who is over all, the Most High, blessed forever. Then they can put that Egyptian god right there. Is that the Most High? No. Is that the Mashiach? No. But you follow what you want to follow. I know what I'm going to follow. To the point that you can't go wrong with hallelujah. Tell me I can go wrong saying hallelujah. Well, so you saying, so be it to the Most High. You done prayed to him. Do you hear what I said? So be it. I will ask, brother, what does that mean? So be it. What it means? So be it. So be it. So be it. I'm like, okay, all right. You think so? Now, go to Isaiah, the 40th chapter. And I'm just trying to bring it on home so you understand how the Most High said in Psalm 96 and 5, for all the gods of the nations are idols, right? The Most High made the heavens because they worship in the heavens and so forth. So when you look at Isaiah 40 and 17, the things in the heavens, the sun, the moon, the stars and so forth, comets and all that. But you go to Isaiah 40 and 17, it says, all nations before him are as nothing. He said, all nations before the Most High, who is the him, are as nothing. And they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. That's what he's saying. Verse 15, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. He said all the nations are just like, if I can get a drop out of this water. Drop of a bucket. This thing is being a bucket, in a bucket. Whew, that's too much. But just a drop, he's saying. He said, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Small dust that's on a scale. It's just starting to get dusty. The small dust on the balance, which is the scale. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. The ones that's in the islands, that's the other nations, as a little thing. Now y'all say, well, all nations, that means the Israelites too. But look what he said in verse 1 to the Israelites. He said, comfort ye Who? My people, who are the Israelites, said the Most High. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished. Our warfare is accomplished. Remember it tells you in James 4:4, you love of the world. The love of the world makes you with enmity with the Most High, at war with the Most High. He said, our warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity, our wickedness, is pardoned. For she have received of the Most High's hand double for all her sins. See that? He said we receive double for all our sins. See? So this is comforting, that our sins are going to be pardoned. Those that are working to be righteous in the eyes of the Most High, doing what he say do. That our eyes are looking upon him. Heavenly things, and not just earthly, worldly things that we are brought into. So when he says, Isaiah 40:17, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. What do you think he's saying? He said, look, Amos 3:1 and 2. Amos the 3rd chapter. With all this, you know it can't, John 3:16 can't be talking to everyone. Amos 3:1 and 2. Hear this word that the Most High has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Hear that? He's talking to the Israelites. He said, because all 12 tribes went into the Egyptian captivity. He said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. You see? You only know us. You don't know no one else. And we read in Romans 9:13. Romans 9:13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau, who was the biblical forefather of the so-called white man, have I hated. Say, what shall we say then? Say what you got to say now. Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? And you going to say the Most High is unrighteous? Most High forbid. For he said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. Mercy is not getting something you do deserve to get. And I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, because you want to have this mercy, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. See? So, who are you going to have mercy on? Isaiah 14:1. You say you're going to have mercy on who we want to have mercy, and compassion on who we want to have compassion on. See, one thing about it, people have created their own power in their own mind and call them God, and really don't want to accept what the word says. A lot of our brothers and sisters, and those of the other nations. But hear the word of the Most High. Isaiah 14:1. For the Most High will have mercy on who? On Jacob, who was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, and will yet choose Israel. You know? He will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, the Israelites, and set them, who are the Israelites, in their own land. And the strangers, these other nations, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. When all the kingdoms are brought down under the power of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, as he come to judge and make war and set up righteousness on this earth, oh yeah, they're going to be cleaving to the Israelites, it's saying. And the people shall take them, who are the strangers, these other nations, outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, and bring them to their place. We're going to bring them to the place where they're going to be at. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids, men slaves and handmaids, women slaves. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Thus say the Most High. Gonna be a change to the God. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest. This is where I rest. This ain't our rest right now. This is where I rest. When all the nations are going to be servants and handmaids to the 12 tribes of Israel. Most High will be there. It says, and it shall come to pass, it's a future, in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. He'll give us rest. No more crying, no more tears, no more fear. You ain't gonna be afraid of anything. And this hard bondage that we were made to serve is gonna be over forever and ever and ever and ever. See? That's what this is about. So that's why John 3:16 could not be talking about everyone. Nowhere in the world. So I hope you see this. I hope you take this to heart, take this to mind, and know that this isn't for everyone. It isn't for everyone. But it's for those that's going to hear and change. The Most High wants us to change. Everybody have to change. You're either going to be made to change, or you're going to change on your own. If you change on your own, you're going to be made to change. Or you're going to perish. Point blank. It's not something that is something that I'm making up myself. I'm reading the scriptures and showing you what it said. Go to Exodus 19:5. We got to bring it on home, because you got to know that this is the Israelites' book. It is not the so-called Jewish people. Israel. Exodus 19:5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, which is with who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to the 12 tribes of Israel, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me, above all people, that for all the earth is mine. You hear that? We're going to be a peculiar treasure to the Most High, above all people, for all the earth is mine, he said. That's why he told us in Deuteronomy 28:1 and 2, first verse and the second verse. It shall come to pass, and it shall come to pass in the future, if, as condition, thou shalt hearken, listen diligently unto the voice of the Most High, thy power, your power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High, thy power, your power, Israel, lights, will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. That's what the kingdom's going to be about. As we coming back to his laws, statutes, commandments, rehearsing, he's going to set us above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken, listen unto the voice of the Most High, thy power, your power, that we're doing now. Coming back to his laws, statutes, commandments. Well, he told us. I mean, he gave us, you know, the same understanding before we get there. Go to Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people, talking to the children of Israel, unto the Most High thy power, your power. The Most High thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That's what he told us. Deuteronomy 14:2. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power, and the Most High have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, as we seen in Exodus 19:5. A peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. He set us up to be above all the nations of the earth. They're supposed to be learning from us. We're not supposed to be learning from them. They're supposed to be learning from us. But here we are, being caught up in gross darkness that they put the people in, and you can't come out of it because you're not one of his grapes, not one of his plants. But his plant and his grape on here. Look at Romans 2 and 14. Romans 2:14. Romans the 2nd chapter, the 14th verse. For when the Gentiles, these other nations, which have not the law, because the Most High only gave the law to the 12 tribes of Israel. We read that in Psalms 147, 19 to 20. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. See that? He said, those that don't have the law, they're a law unto themselves. But the Most High just said, he only know us, children of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. So, Deuteronomy 10. Deuteronomy 10:15. Deuteronomy 10:15. Only the Most High had a delight in thy fathers to love them. We know we love, you know. Romans 9:13. For as it is written, Jacob have I loved. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. So it's talking to the Israelites. Only the Most High had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them. Even you above all people, as it is this day. You know? Why do you think it says that? He said he chose us above all people as it is this day. Because the Most High has not cast away his people, which you foreknew. We read that in Romans 11:2. So he still knows us and he still loves us. We just got to come back to him. Leviticus 20. Leviticus 20. And 24. Mind you, this is all they had to go by. Anybody reading in the New Testament, they only had the law and the prophets to go by. That's all. So we in the law. Leviticus. Just say the Most High. 20, and we're going to read verse 24. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Most High, your power. He said he's the Most High, our power. Which have separated you from other people. You see? The Most High separated us from other people. See? So, this is what he did, right? He separated us from other people. So when you look at Mashiach coming back to judge and make wars, it says in Revelation 19 and 11. Let's go to Matthew 25 and 31. So when he come back, he says, when the Son of Man, who is a Mashiach shall come in his glory. He coming in the glory of the Most High, and all the holy angels with him. Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, powers and authority. And before him shall be gathered all nations. Hear that? All nations. And he shall separate them one from another. Remember, Most High just said he separated us from all other people. So when the Mashiach shall come back, he's going to have to separate us from all other nations as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep, we don't define the sheep as the 12 tribes of Israel, on his right hand. He will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. The goats on the left. So when you look at this, you can say, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, who are the sheep, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, the remnant, the 1/3, the chosen, the few, the many, the all, which is a certain number, the magnified, the glorified, the sanctified. All these are dealing the elect, the election. All these dealing with the 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel. Say, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. He made the whole world for our sakes. But we don't know that. So when he come back, look what he going to do. Verse 32. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Remember, the Most High separated us from all nations. So what did the Most High do? Go to Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. This is what he did initially. So when Mashiach coming back to separate all the nations, because we integrated amongst all these nations. That's why he got to get us Israelites that are scattered among all these nations. And what's he going to do? It's like he did here. Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, divided to the nations their lands that they're going to live in. That's why you can look at the back of the Bibles, you'll see different nations, the lands that they lived in. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, the lands that they will live on, when he separated the sons of Adam, he didn't integrate everybody to be together. He separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Once he gave Israel their land, knowing what land he's going to give them, then he put the other nations in their own lands. That's why he gave every nation their woman, every man their woman, to procreate and create their nation. He's not about integration. That's something that, this world says, okay, that's a contrary to the Most High. That's breaking his laws, Yahshua, Israelites. For the Most High's portion is his people, Jacob's a lot of his inheritance. You hear that? We are. So when Mashiach come back, like the Most High separate all the nations there, that's what he's going to do. That's what he said. He's going to set the sheep on his right hand, the children of Israel. He tells you in Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right? So he said the sheep, the Israelites, on the right hand, and the goats on the left. And some Israelites, you're goats too. Look, y'all called yourself Greeks and Grecians and so forth, Greek-speaking Jews. It was against the law to even call yourself an Israelite. So when the Mashiach came on the earth, that's why he said the evil that's in the world, because a lot of y'all were Greeks. You were Grecians, you were Israelites that were following the same suit as the Greeks. They just turned it into Romans. You taught your children the same thing going down the line through the lineage, that they were Greeks too when he came on the earth. That's why they were so afraid of losing their power with the Romans. And the people weren't going to follow them no more. They're going to follow Mashiach Yahushua, the whole thing. That's why it was such a problem. Look, our people. And you're looking at all the miracles that he done, and our people seeing it, and they still was jealous of him. Still hated him. That's why he said, these nations, man, talking about Israelites and the other nations, 2/3 of our people and the nations, that's a lot that's against us. He said they hated him before they hated you. They hated Mashiach Yahushua. That's why they hate you. They hate you if you rolling by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the Lord. Say they hate you for that too. Understand this. Understand this. Deuteronomy 10 and 15. Deuteronomy 10, 15. Mind you, this all they had to go by was the Old Testament, the old scrolls, when the Mashiach walked the earth. And all the rest of the brothers and sisters that were robed in the spirit of the Most High during what you call the New Testament, or that age of time that they lived. It says, Deuteronomy 10, 15, only the Most High had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. Gotta keep seeing that. That's powerful. So remember what he said, Isaiah 40 and 17. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. So how you get it? Most High love everybody. For Most High so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. How you get that out of that? Say all nations are as nothing, to be less than nothing. Not only that, go to what Ezra said. Ezra, we had lost the word. We had lost the laws of the Most High. The Most High gave them back to Ezra. Look what it says in the book of Ezra 6 and 54. It says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest master of all thy creatures. So we all come from Adam. Of him who is Adam, come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. See? The people also whom the Most High have chosen. You know the Most High chose the Israelites. All this have I spoken before thee, O Most High, because thou madest the world for our sake. You hear that? He made the whole world for our sakes, it's saying. For the children of Israel's sake. That's why it says in verse 2 Ezra 7 and 10, and I said, it is so, Master. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, meaning Adam had the laws, he transgressed the Most High's statutes, he was told what to do and what not to do, then was decreed that now is done. You see? So going back to 2 Ezra 6 and 54, it says, and after these Adam also, who transgressed the Most High's laws by eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, whom thou madest master of all thy creatures, of him come we all. Because we either come from Shem, Ham, and Japheth, who came from Noah, who came from Adam, descendant of Adam. Of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen, who are the 12 tribes of Israel. All this have I spoken before thee, O Most High, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing. We read that in Isaiah 40 and 17. All nations before him are as nothing. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. That's how deep this goes. You say, they are nothing but be like unto spittle. Spit. And that's likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. We read that in Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. You see how it coincides? As for the other people, 2 Ezra 6:56, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. That's what he's saying. And now, O Most High, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be masters over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sake, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? That's what he's saying. He's asking the question, how long shall this endure, Most High? That he's not going to set up righteousness on this earth. He's going to set it up. He's going to sit on my shackle shine, but it's in his hand. Understand this. How long? Don't let nobody tell you any date, any time, because let's make it clear. Go to Acts, the first chapter. Make it perfectly clear as to when it's going to go down. Acts 1 and verse 6. Moshe had died. He rose on the third day, walked there for 40 days. They asked him this question. When they therefore would come together, they asked of him, saying, Mashiach. It's like Ezra's asking, right? How long is it going to be before we get the kingdom? So they asked him this. When they therefore would come together, they asked of him, saying, Mashiach, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Let you know the kingdom coming to the Israelites. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father has put in his own power. See, the Most High put the time that he's going to send Mashiach to judge and make war in his own power. See? So the Most High only know it. Let nobody tell you any different or try and bring forth a certain time period or whatever. No. Go to Matthew 24 and 36. Clear as day. But of that day and hour, Matthew 24:36, but of that day and hour knoweth no man. See? Not the angels of heaven. The angels of heaven don't know. But my Father only. See? My Father only. So don't get it twisted. Let nobody tell you that's going to be on this day, that day. No. Only the Most High knows. So I'm going to, for time's sake, I'm going to conclude right now. And I hope that was edifying concerning John 3:16. And study to show yourself approval to the Most High. Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And all praise to the Most High, Baal Shem, Mashiach Yahushua. And I'm out. Shalom.